I'm talking to Dan Hammond now from England. Who you played for in England, Dan, before you came over here?
I was with Cambridge United for 9 years. So I went through their youth system,
right,
all the way through to a YTS. So I was playing in their reserves in my last year of YTS,
okay.
But never got a pro contract, so dropped down to non-league. Played in non-league for a couple of years with Kings Lynn, and then came over with my girlfriend at the time to visit her father in Singapore for a holiday. Had a few contacts here. We really liked it and ended up staying.
Oh, right, okay.
So that was in 2007. So I've been here almost 4 years now.
So you're a bit of you're a centre back, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you a Rosette type centre back, or would you say you're more of a Ronald Koeman, Franz Beckenbauer, play the ball out of defence type thing? How would you?
It depends where I'm playing. I mean, in the UK you don't get time to play. It's just head and kick. So I mean, you get a bit more time on the ball here. So I like to play, and teams like to play here. So it's been good to have to play a bit more football as opposed to in the UK. But I mean, that side of the game has obviously helped me here as well.
Right.
Because the locals are not too robust in that way. So.
But do you find that the refs kind of aren't too happy about tackles and physical contact?
No, it's a bit tame, to be honest. But you get used to it, and it's still good to whack a few people, but you just have to tone it down a bit. So.
Have the refs looking the other way.
It's like I say, it's a different style of football here because of the weather, and the strikers are not too keen to run for 90 minutes in this weather, so you get a bit more time on the ball, which is good, as opposed to just having one touch to head or kick it back home. So,
right. So you're now in your fourth team here, 4 teams in 3.5 years. Who was your first team here?
When I came over, I played for the Young Lions, which is a national under-23 setup. Basically, they play in the professional league here, really just to sort of give the younger guys a bit more experience and throw them in at the deep end. But I played as one of their foreign players because every team's allowed 4 foreigners here, so that was my first sort of foot in the door really. So I played with them for a year, but then was too old to play the following season because I turned 23. Joined Woodlands Wellington, had a good season with them. Unfortunately, they had a few financial issues, so moved again to Ballistick House last year, where we've done really well. Formed a good partnership with Kiwi guy Paul Cunningham,
right.
And we almost reached the best points total they've ever got in the league. So we basically doubled what they've done last year in points wise. So had a really successful season, and then on the back of that, I've secured a move to probably the biggest club here in Singapore now at SAFFC.
And I mean, Richard Bulk, they struggled last season, so he's invested quite heavily in youth, hasn't he? And he's also changed around the defence, so there's you, Danny Bennett and Bar Mamadou.
Yeah, that's correct. Basically they had a run of 4 years where they had a strong team and the foreigners were all good, and then last year going into the AFC they changed the majority of the squad and all the 4 foreign players. So I think it took time to gel. I mean, towards the end of the season they were doing okay, but I think the defence was just an area that Richard really wanted to sort of steel up this year, and with Dan already there, Noraman there, Saifalissa coming back from injury, there's a lot of competition for places, but I think our main objective now is to get clean sheets. So we've got 3 good centre halves and there's competition for places, which is good. So if you don't concede a goal, you're going to get a point. So that's the way we're looking at it, and we brought in a great Croatian striker with 2 national strikers as well alongside him. Hopefully we can score goals as well. So
right.
Looking for a big season really this year to bounce back from last year's disappointing one. So.
How's the season started so far? You've won 2, lost 1, is that right?
Yeah, we won the opening game 2-0 against one of our former clubs, Young Lions, and then we beat Tanjong Pagar, which is a newly formed local team, in the second game, and then the last game we lost to Geylang United, which was very disappointing. They played really well against us, but I think it's just a poor all-round performance from us really. But I missed the last 2 games for a hamstring injury, which I picked up in the first game, so I'm looking to get back in the next game or so, get back in amongst it, hopefully get some clean sheets.
You mentioned Dan Bennett there briefly. I mean, he's I don't know, he's probably more Singaporean than English. He was born here and everything. How helpful is it having someone who really does know the ropes playing alongside you after your 1 game together?
It's massive, you know. I mean, after dropping out from the sort of professional sort of set up in England and playing non-league, I was 18 playing with guys who were like past their prime really, sort of 30, 35 years old, and you learn so much from these guys because they've got the experience. And I mean, the last few Young Lions, certainly I was probably one of the older players, so I didn't really have no one to look to, and they were sort of looking to me. And I mean, at 23, you're still reasonably young, you know. But now I'm getting to sort of 24, 25. Looking to develop my game and playing with these older players is brilliant, really. Especially Bar and Daniel, who have got so much experience between them. I mean, Bar's played here for 12 years in Singapore, and Dan's been here for obviously the same. So yeah, it's great to have the experience alongside us. So.
Now, you've been here 4 years, 3.5 years, and I think that they got a scheme here called the Foreign Talent Scheme, where if you've been here 5 years, you get a bar of chocolate and PR and a Singapore passport, so that can get you in the national team. Is that an option for you? Is that something you've ever thought about?
Definitely, you know. I represented England at schoolboy level, under 15s, so I only managed to get sort of one cap at youth level. But I mean,
have you still got the cap?
Yeah, it's at home. It's not here.
You wear it to work sometimes?
No, I haven't brought it in yet with Soda Boys. No, I mean, but that's in the past. That's 10 years ago now. So if there's a chance to play international football, then obviously I'm going to take it. But at the moment, I'm just looking to establish myself at club level and see how it goes. I'm very settled here in Singapore. I just recently married my girlfriend of 5 years, so we're married and we're settled here. So we're looking to sort of set up a family here, and we love it here, really. So if I can get a passport, then and I get a chance to play for the national team, then great. If not, then I'd probably take one anyway, just because I love Singapore. So.
All right. Now, in your time here, what players have you played against that you found particularly difficult? You know, thinking about strikers, obviously. Which players have given you the most torrid time?
I think probably the best player over the 4 years, or probably one of the toughest players, is Big Alex. I mean, he's 41 now, but he still causes defenders problems. And
hey, that's 40 something. That's something to offer you, man.
And he still causes problems. A few of the other players last year. Mendy done well with the new Etoile team. He caused a lot of problems to a lot of teams. Before that, there's a gone-back player called OJ, who he's gone off to the States and pursued other leagues now. But
I think he's in Cambodia now.
Yeah, I think Cambodia. He was a great player, very tricky player. But there's a lot. I mean, there's some strong foreigners and there's some good local players. Alam Shah, when he was still here, used to smash me all over the park. So there's a lot of good players, you know. And
okay, you mentioned 3 or 4 of the foreigners. How about some local players at the moment who maybe not smashing you all over the park like Alam Shah did, but you may sort of think, okay, I'm in for a battle today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
There's a few that they say have moved over to Indonesia now, like Sharul Ishak, and he had a great. Well, he played the most part of last year, and he was pretty special last year, done well. But there's some few good up-and-coming youngsters playing, like at Home United now and Tampines. They've got a few youngsters playing coming through. So I mean, it looks good as a strong opposition. So.
And we talked about the young Lions where you were there. Do you get to see much of them anymore? And have you seen any young players coming through there who maybe people watching this should be looking out for in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot coming through, and you read about different players. I think at the minute, Shafiq coming off the back of a good performance this week. Shafiq Ghani looks pretty strong. I mean, Harris has been doing well. He's got big boots to fill because playing for the national team at just 16, he's got a lot of hype. But I think he's sort of gone off the boiler a bit with his injuries and stuff. I think he'll come back strong in years to come and be a good player. He's one, the goalkeeper at Young Lions, very good goalkeeper. I think he'll be one to watch, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming through. So.
All right, mate. So thanks very much. We'll continue with our roti prata, yeah.
No problem. Cheers. Thank you.